Welcome to this week's episode of Women on the Brink. We are well into the Christmas season. If you're someone who celebrates Christmas or any holiday around this time, then you know it can be a really busy and, often really stressful time. For some people, it can feel like a marathon of emotional endurance because it feels like there's so much expected from you. And for others, it can feel like a bit of an emotional disconnect if you don't have close friends or family around you. And I felt a bit of both over the years, and I feel it's best to plan ahead and set some financial and personal boundaries in place so I can enjoy what the season brings. So this isn't a long episode, but hopefully a helpful one. So for me, I try to plan the month of December out in advance. And I know this may sound a little anal to some of you listeners, but I know there's some of you going, I totally get her. And that's because I have 4 birthdays that also coincide with this time of year. So I really need to have a plan in place because here's the deal. I really do enjoy Christmas. But some years I've been so busy that I've burnt out before the actual day even gets here. And I mean, life is way less crazy around this time of year now that the kids are older. But I still write everything down in my calendar, the parties, the lunches, the activities, and get this, even my rest days. Yep, I'm so organized now that I even plan when I'm going to take my rest days because I need one every sort of 7 to 10 days. And this is a day where I literally have nothing more planned than maybe getting some exercise. The next thing I used to do was plan a budget because one of the things that I dreaded was my January credit card bill. And even though I used to try to allocate my spending on everyone's gifts very carefully, at the last minute, I'd spend another few $100s buying odds and ends and more stocking stuffers, which I'm not really sure that was about. But now, with my kids all grown up and living in different areas, my youngest is in New Zealand, so I won't even see her this Christmas. We've agreed collectively not to buy Christmas gifts for one another, which has taken a lot of the financial stress out of Christmas for all of us. And I have to say, though, Christmas is not the same as an empty nester. I do miss the excitement when the kids were little. So yeah, I mean, I really get how many people feel sadness or grief when their loved ones aren't around. And speaking of gifts and shopping, I always used to try to put a boundary around finishing Christmas shopping by the end of November. I mean, except for that, that last minute spending frenzy I was talking about.
Cashier number 1, please.
So I'd buy things throughout the year, when something was on sale, or I'd see something that I thought someone would really like and put it away until Christmas. Now, my daughters and I surprise one another throughout the year with things we found for one another that, can't wait till our birthdays. And it makes gift giving very special to me because it feels very personalized. And I know I'll pick up Christmas gift giving again when there's a grandchild. No pressure there, girls. I've also discovered ways to become thrifty when it comes to Christmas glitter and decorations. When we were living in Perth, there was this one store that I just loved walking through at Christmas time. It was called Presents. And they had the most beautiful tree ornaments, candle holders, and other seasonal decorations. But it was a little on the expensive side. So I would put some money aside and buy a few select pieces each year when the Boxing Day sale came out because all Christmas stock was 50% off. And so over the years, I had acquired a nice little collection of Christmas decorations that I really loved. And I also discovered that shopping for Christmas wrapping and all the Christmas themed stuff was way cheaper to buy after Christmas. And the bonus to all of this is that when the next Christmas rolled around, I already had all of the wrapping and decor ready to go. And then there's the stress around Christmas dinner. So I just have to tell you about one Christmas I hosted in Perth. So in Australia, they have Christmas lunch like they do in England. And because it's really hot, most lunches are served cold. So I prepared all of the food a day ahead on Christmas Eve. I cooked the turkey so it could be served on a cold platter, prepped the salads, the seafood platter. We had so much food. And we had quite a few expat friends when we lived there. So I invited them to share Christmas with us. I guess we were maybe 17 people altogether. And so I decided to feed the adults at the dining room table, and I prepared an outdoor area for the kids. However, by 11 a.m. Christmas Day, it was about 42 degrees outside. So my husband spent Christmas morning rearranging the living room to accommodate the kids' table while I frantically finished prepping the lunch and setting the tables. Was it a great meal? I mean, it was okay, but definitely not my best. But more importantly, because I was so frantic about getting the meal right and prepping the house, I don't even remember Christmas Eve or Christmas morning. And those Christmas mornings with the girls, when they were so young, were some of my best days ever. So, lesson learned from this people pleasing perfectionist. Christmas Eve and Christmas mornings should not be about trying to make so many people happy without a chef and a personal assistant. And now that we're back in Canada, Christmas is with extended family, and everybody pretty much pitches in to bring a dish or host. So it takes a lot of the pressure off of one person to have to do it all. So for me today, there isn't the same busyness as there was, 10 or 20 years ago. But I still feel like it's okay to opt out of some things, set boundaries, or define Christmas on my own terms so that it's a little less hectic. Some days in December, this introvert will just light a candle, grab a blanket and a cup of tea, and let the world spin without me for a while. Have you got any great Christmas stories to share? Please feel free to post it on womenonthebrink.net. And may this season be calm and bright for you.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!